Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I am so excited for today's video because I'm going to be participating in a tag. My friend here on YouTube, Miscellaneous Matilda, actually came up with this really fun video idea and invited me to do it as well. And basically it is a thrifting tag. It consists of 10 different questions and it'll just kind of help you to get to know me better and hear about my thrifting journey. So I'm so excited to get into it. Thank you, Matilda, for including me with this really fun idea. If you're not familiar with her channel, I highly recommend checking it out. She is currently participating in a low buy year, and she also makes capsule wardrobe content as well. So if that's something you're into, I will leave a card right up here. Be sure to go check out her channel and her video after you watch this one. So I have a screenshot of the questions right here, and the first question is, when did you start thrifting? So I believe that I started thrifting late junior high, early high school. My mom kind of introduced me to it, and one of my earliest thrifting memories is actually at a swap meet, so kind of a secondhand situation, not necessarily your typical thrifting. But I remember going to the swap meet with my mom and we were doing some back to school shopping, and I found these really cool Converse high tops, like the really high tops that lace all the way up to your shins. They were like a purple and black plaid, and I thought that they were the coolest things ever, and that kind of introduced my love for like funky and interesting clothing pieces. I also would go to typical thrift stores with some of my friends in early high school, but not as much as I do now. I really got more into thrifting when I met my husband. He actually loves thrifting as much as I do. He doesn't thrift for clothes, but more so like video game things and tools and technology and things like that. The second question on here is, what's your favorite thing about thrifting? And first and foremost, I would have to say that I love the treasure hunt aspect of thrifting. It is so exciting when you're searching and searching and then you find a treasure amongst all of the other pieces. It is so exciting. But on top of that, I really love that you can find very special and high quality pieces for more inexpensive prices. I know for me that I'm really drawn to unique patterns and intricate design elements, and I find that with modern day stores and just regular stores in general, those types of pieces can come with a really high price tag that I'm not willing to pay. So I love that thrifting makes it more attainable for me to find those types of pieces but not spend an arm and a leg. Okay, number 3, what is your favorite thrift find? Now this one's hard for me because I've recently had a lot of luck thrifting lately. If you saw my last haul, you'll know that I found some gem pieces. But rather than focusing on my more recent finds, I decided to think back a little bit to an older find, and that is these gorgeous rainbow bell bottoms. I thrifted these towards the end of 2020, I believe. I remember that it was one of my first thrift trips after the thick of the pandemic and the quarantine. I hadn't gone thrifting for months, and I remember that this was my first thrift outing that I had been on in a while. And I found these and they are just so stunning. I love how unique they are in design. I love the silhouette of them. They're also the first pair of more flared kind of bell-bottom jeans that I had ever tried. They fit me like a glove. I love the rainbow embroidery. I think that they are so fun and unique but still very wearable as well. I'm so surprised by how many outfits that I've put together with these. The next question on here is, what is the oldest thing in your wardrobe? And the way that I'm going to be interpreting this question is the piece that I've had in my closet for the longest, not necessarily oldest in terms of like being vintage or anything like that, just the pieces that I've owned for the longest. This little sundress, I thrifted this in early high school. I think that I was a freshman or a sophomore. And when I first thrifted this and the first time that I wore it, I remember feeling kind of uncomfortable. At the time, it just felt a little bit too feminine for my taste, so it actually just sat in the back of my closet for quite some time. But then come junior and senior year of high school, I rediscovered it and I absolutely fell in love with it. So it just goes to show that it's totally okay to change your style and let yourself evolve when it comes to taste in clothing. It's a piece that I still love till this day, and I get a lot of wear out of it in spring and summer. The next question is, how much of your wardrobe is thrifted? So I did a quick scan over my closet, not including pajamas or underwear or anything like that, because most of that stuff, well, pretty much all of that stuff, is new and not thrifted. But as far as my real closet goes, the clothes that I actually wear on a day-to-day basis, I did a quick scan of each category and I found that all of my jeans are thrifted, all of my jackets are thrifted, most of my dresses are thrifted. I have one or two that are not secondhand. And then once I got to my tops, I found that that's where I have a mix between secondhand and newly purchased items. I found that most of my more basic tops are non-thrifted, mostly just because I was looking for something very specific to add to my wardrobe. And then my shoes, again, are kind of an even mix between thrifted and non-thrifted. So by my estimation, I think that about 90% of my closet is actually thrifted, which is really fun. And I love to tell people about my thrift finds when they ask about a specific piece that I'm wearing. I get such a thrill from saying, oh, I got it at the thrift store, and I just think it's the best. Question number 6 is there anything that you would not thrift? So I gave this a little bit of thought, and as far as category goes, there's not much that I won't thrift for. Again, I don't thrift for pajamas or lingerie usually, just because I don't like the texture of the used pieces usually. But something that I thought of is that I try not to thrift too far out of my size range. If I find a piece that needs to be like drastically altered to fit me, I would much rather leave it for somebody else, because I know how exciting it is when you find a treasure that is in your perfect size. It is just such an exciting feeling, so I want to leave that for somebody else to discover. Now, if the piece is just a little bit big on me, nothing too drastic, then I will pick it up, but for the most part, I really try to stay roughly in my size range. Also, I'm sorry if you hear crunching in the background. My cat is having her lunch. Moving on to the next question. Question number 7, do you prefer thrifting online or in person? And I would definitely say I prefer thrifting in person. Again, it's just kind of that aspect of treasure hunting that I love so much. I find that I don't get the same type of thrill when it comes to thrifting online. When I do thrift online, it's usually because I'm looking for a very specific piece that I'll go and search on Mercari or something like that. I will say that I have been lucky enough to find a couple of gems when it comes to searching online. I found this really beautiful and funky blazer that I just love so much. but if I had to choose a preference, I definitely would choose in-person shopping. The next question is, what section do you usually start in? And for me personally, I usually go to whatever section is the least crowded. I really don't like a bunch of people around me when I'm trying to search through the racks. But if I do have a choice of the different sections, then I really like to start in the jackets and outerwear, just because that's been my favorite category to thrift recently. And it just kind of like sparks my energy for a good thrift trip. I like to start off on kind of a high note, and I get really excited looking at all the jackets. Number 9, do you prefer thrifting alone or with company? So as I said, my husband and I are thrifting buddies. We go thrifting all the time together. Pretty much if I'm thrifting, my husband is with me. And it's kind of the best of both worlds to have a buddy with me thrifting, but since we look for different stuff, it kind of allows me to have my space to look through all of the clothing, and then he looks in his sections. And I find that I go into kind of this zen place when I'm thrifting. I find it really relaxing. And it's just kind of like me time when I'm looking through the racks, you know, but then it's nice to have my husband there because I can walk across the store and get his opinion on things. But when it does come to thrifting with friends, I will say that I become less focused on my finds and more focused on trying to help them find stuff, because if I'm thrifting with my girlfriends, they usually don't go thrifting as much as I do. So I kind of try to guide them to find stuff because I get really excited when I get other people excited about thrifting. And we've arrived at our last question, and that is, what is your best thrifting tip? So I gave this a lot of thought. And when it comes to advising people on how to find things, I would say patience is key. I think the key to thrifting is going a lot, going often to different places, but being picky and selective about what you actually end up purchasing. I feel like that's the secret to finding really good items. I would say that I go thrifting about once a week, if not once every 2 weeks. And I don't thrift something every time that I go, but when I do go, I'll go to a couple of different thrift stores. But I like to hold out for those special and unique pieces. And I really think that frequency is the secret to finding items, because you're not going to find something every single time you go. So that wraps up this thrifting tag. Once again, be sure to check out Miscelleneous Matilda. I will leave her video right up here. As far as tagging other people to do this video, I don't really have anybody particular to tag, but I will say if you have a YouTube channel, I would love to see your version of this tag. I had so much fun making this video. I hope you guys got to know me a little better. And yeah, I would say if you want to make this video for yourself, then go ahead and do it, and make sure to leave a comment down below if you do end up filming one of these videos. I would love to check it out. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!